Tea sandwiches are the ultimate in glamour and sophistication, but that doesn't mean they're hard to make. In today's video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to make delicious tea sandwiches that are tasty, good looking, and so simple. All you need is some bread and of course some filling options. For the bread, it's good to have some white and wholemeal bread to create variety, and for the fillings we're using simple seasonal ingredients, which you'll see as we go along. I'm using frozen bread and I'll show you why. There isn't a right or wrong approach here, but there is a difference and you can choose which look you prefer. We're making round tea sandwiches today, so the easiest way to cut these is to use some circle cutters. When you cut a circle of frozen bread, it goes straight through and you end up with squarer sides. If you use fresh bread, it sort of squashes the edges, creating this sort of look. Can you see the difference? Pick whichever style you prefer and be consistent with each plate. Frozen bread defrosts pretty quickly, so you could even have a bag of circles pre-cut and frozen right ready to pull out of the freezer for some sandwiches when you next need them. Don't throw away these offcuts. They can easily be used for breadcrumbs or even bread and butter pudding. For our first selection today, we're just using a single layer of bread. I'm alternating between the white and wholemeal bread to create some variety. I've got a delicious creamy garlic and onion dip to use on these. You can make your own or use a store-bought dip if you're short on time. I'll show you how easy it is to make your own soon. I always pull out my piping bags when it comes to sandwiches. It's efficient and does a very tidy job. You can easily pipe on a nice little blob of dip onto each round of bread. The first row will be cucumber, so I'm just going to cut some slices using a mandolin. I guess I could have used a knife since it's only 3 pieces. Dab them dry with some paper towel. You definitely don't want soggy tea sandwiches. The next row is getting some crispy bacon bits that I pan-fried and drained on some paper towel. Then we'll add some thin carrot ribbons to the next row. You can honestly top these with just about anything you have in your fridge or vegetable garden, and even simple herbs can add variety. The last row is getting a slice of strawberry. Now comes the garnishing part. In my opinion, this is what really takes your sandwiches up a level. Chopped or whole sprigs of fresh herbs are a great simple garnish. I love my herb garden. They're so easy to grow and add so much flavour and colour to food. Do you grow herbs at home? Let's put these onto a presentation board before we add the final touch. Notice how I've kept them in rows but mixed up the colours. The 2 green sandwiches aren't side by side to create some contrast. Don't these chopped chives elevate our delicate cucumber sandwiches? A little snow pea sprig brings colour to the bacon rounds, and even simple chopped parsley can enhance these little tea sandwiches. I think your guests would be thrilled to be served a board of these, and they're really so easy to make, anyone can do it. Another way you can make these is with double layers. Here I've got some chive butter and also the cucumber again. I've chosen a circle cutter that's as close to the size of the cucumber as possible. I'll use this to cut the bread so that it all stacks up nicely. This time I want 3 thicker slices of cucumber for the centres and 3 thinner slices to garnish the top. Traditional cucumber sandwiches in their simplicity are best made with a delicate chive butter. To make this, all you need is some softened butter and chopped chives. Mix it really well and make sure it's soft enough to spread without needing a lot of force. You don't want squashed sandwiches. I'm being careful not to spread it too close to the edges of the bread because I don't want it visible. Now we can add the thicker cucumber slices. Don't forget to dry them before adding them. Then we can put the second slice of bread on top. To finish these off, I'm folding the thinner cucumber slice in half to add some height and dimension, and then securing it all together with a bamboo skewer. What do you think of these? They're so easy to make, yet so delightful. Sticking with more than one layer of bread, let's make a triple layered ham and cheese tea sandwich. I'm going to alter the wholemeal and white bread circles for variety and cut the cheese and ham in the same size. This time I have a lemon and parsley cream cheese spread. To make this, I used some cream cheese at room temperature. Then I added some mayonnaise. I guess it was roughly half as much mayo as cream cheese. On top of that went some parsley for colour and some lemon zest for flavour. I gave it a good mix around using a fork to mash the cream cheese and get it nice and smooth. It was a little too thick, so I added a squeeze of lemon juice too. Switching to a whisk when it's all softened a bit is a great way to finish it off and get the smooth texture you want. Yum! That looks delicious! So I'm spreading a little onto the bread circles, then adding the ham and sandwiching them together. Then I need to add some more spread to stick in the cheese layer. To finish these off, I'm going to skewer them and add the green tip from a snow pea shoot. Aren't these so dainty? You can use this same principle for so many different combinations of fillings. I'd love to know what some of your favourite sandwich fillings are in the comments below. Egg sandwiches or avocado sandwiches are both very simple and delicious too, and so easy to prepare. When you're making your fillings like these mashed ones, don't forget the little additions that really make the flavours pop. Don't underestimate what a little hint of mayonnaise or mustard or lemon juice or even finely chopped herbs can do to elevate the overall flavour. After all, this is all we're adding to these sandwiches. Here comes my trusty piping bag again. They are so convenient for applying these sorts of fillings. While I'm mashing these eggs, I want to tell you about my newsletter. If you haven't already signed up, there's a link in the description below. It's a great way for me to connect with you and share more tips, ideas and full recipes. Since both these fillings are light in colour, I'm using the darkest rye bread I could find. I know you can get much darker varieties, but hopefully this will illustrate the point of colour contrast and how it creates visual appeal. These are such simple sandwiches, just filled with the egg and avocado mixtures. I love how you can make them so quickly and tidily using the piping bags. Adding some sort of garnish to your tea sandwiches is the layer that adds the glamour and sophistication. For these, all I'm doing is adding another little blob of the filling and some herbs. So simple yet so beautiful. You can put together a plate of these in no time at all for any occasion. The last idea I want to show you is a little bit of fun, something else you can do with a circle of bread. I'm cutting the bread using my biggest circle cutter to make full use of this slice of bread. Then I'm going to spread on some of the lemon and parsley cream cheese spread, trying to get it even all over. Then add a long thin wedge of orange capsicum. If your capsicum is quite thick or you have some of the bitter white piece, you can easily thin it down a little before adding it. Or you could even use a strip of carrot if you like. I also like to add a sprinkle of paprika for flavour, but it also helps to make it look a bit more realistic. We're going to turn these into Calla Lilies. So for the stems, I've got some celery to trim to size. All you need to do now is put the celery underneath the capsicum and fold around the sides of the bread. Give it a good squeeze to stick it into place. Aren't these a bit of fun? I've got some herbs to plate them on. There, we have an edible Calla Lily posy. If you like these simple tea sandwiches, you might like this video too. Open Danish sandwiches are a canvas for creativity, and don't they look amazing? See you over there.